I can't find myself. I get lost inside my brain. Think I might need help, but I pushed all them away. I took the cards they dealt, and there's nothing I can change. So when I'm by myself, I just pray for brighter days. Sometimes I sit and I reminisce about the good times. Wish I could get those back. I keep on running these races that go in my mind.
10 minutes past that 8 o'clock hour, family. How are you doing? It is another episode on this 21st day of February of Wellness Wednesday, where a healthy you is a better you. Yours truly, Joe Dupree, is in the building, along with Edward J. Brown, Shauna Sias, the conduit. And guess what? We're going to give a round of applause to her. The mic chick is in the building. Tiffany is in the building.
What's up?
To tell a friend we are in the building. Brother Brown, I'm just gonna let you take over, man. It is all on you, my brother.
Hey man, listen, no, I am glad to be here. It's another Wellness Wednesday. We have a fantastic show. We have a bunch of people that is gonna be watching. We have two fantastic ladies that's gonna be joining us tonight. Too often we don't spend enough time smelling the roses or giving roses or however you want to say it. And I want to take a minute to do that. I had an opportunity to see this morning show this morning. And if you don't get a chance to watch it, trust me, it's worth you getting up in the morning or on your way to work like I did. Tune in. Brother Dupree, Sister Size, who else was on the show with you this morning, brother?
Brother Fatine, Sister Jack. Yeah.
I mean, they do a fantastic morning show. The topics are incredible. The energy is off the chain. So what I'm hoping is that we can only continue to match that energy today in talking about our mental wealth. We're going to talk about our mental wealth today and see if we can keep this show on the same level and the standard that you set this morning.
Well, family, we are happy to be in the building. And of course, we're going to go ahead and give her a little solo time because I just got to do it. The beautiful Miss Tiffany Dickerson, better known as the Mic Chick. How you doing, Mic Chick? Mic check one, mic check. Can you hear me now?
The Mic Chick is on the right side of the dirt. I'm happy. I'm happy to be with you all this evening. You know, Joe, you're so illustrious in your own right. Okay.
He does what he does.
And then Shauna, the award-winning, all-knowing, all-being, just beautiful. And then we have Edward, who's got more acronyms behind his name.
Hey, that's just letters.
That part.
Hey,
that part.
I done just made up a whole bunch of acronyms to put behind mine.
We can do that, you know. I know people that's doing it, so we can do it on our show. We can do what we want. We can do what we want on here. But you said something this morning, brother, where you said we were going to talk about how laughter is good for the soul.
Yes.
I just got out of a session where I did grief therapy. And I told the young brother, I said, you know, the grief process is one of the few parts of the life cycle that incorporates almost every emotion that there is. We could be crying because we miss our loved one, and before our face dry, we cracking up laughing at something they did, you know. So I think that we have to, because we've done this for 3 years and we have not had a show where we talked about how laughter and how joy can change a person's life. Now, Sister Size, I saw those little hearts that you were toting around this morning. I told you, I only called in for a few minutes, but I watched the show. And look at that smile they bring. See, that's what we're talking about. So something as small as a puppy could be as large as a building, and how it impacts our life. So, you know, it was so funny because if you don't believe humor is a big part, every presentation I do, if it's more than 100 people, 200 people, I try to tell a joke. You know, I try to tell one of those mental health jokes. And every time I tell one of those jokes, people come up to me and they say, great presentation, but that was a hilarious joke you told when you first. And they remember because one thing we know about mental wealth is people remember how you make them feel.
Absolutely.
They remember how you make them feel more than what you say. So if you make a person feel good, they're going to remember you.
Sister
The
Steiner.
curriculum that
Come on.
in the curriculum that we do, we actually utilize, I teach them how to use humor as a way to deal with bullying. You know, sometimes just simple interjection of a joke, you know, will totally change the attitude of both of the persons at the time. You know, so laughter it's needed and it's necessary.
Yeah.
I try to make people laugh as often as my bladder can stand.
It's hard to be mad when you're laughing. It's hard to be angry when you're laughing. I remember going into a McDonald's many years ago and they got my food wrong. So I had to go back around and park, get out the car and go inside. And when I walked up to the counter, the lady said, they messed up your order. I said, yeah. She said, well, okay, we'll get it taken care of. And the guy comes out the back and he says, I did that order. You were in the BMW. I said, yeah. And when he turned around, his eyes was crossed like this, and they were bumping into each other. And before I knew it, I started laughing. And the guy said, you're laughing because my eyes are crossed, aren't you? I said, well, at least you know. You know, I didn't want you to be walking around and not know that your eyes was crossed. He even had to laugh. And I said, listen, man, I just came in to get my food. I'm not angry. I'm not upset. You know, and laughter can change an entire mood. You know, that's why we don't mind spending a lot of money to go see our favorite comedians.
Right.
Right. And so
I remember meeting Tiffany. That's how we met. She was making me laugh. It was the Sisters of Empowerment event, and she was the MC. So first I was confused because I didn't know who this diva was in the front, you know, looking better than me. You know, the audacity. You know, and then
how dare she
comes out with the mic, you know, she cracked the first two, and I looked to the side, I said, she funny. Okay.
It was all right. It was okay. At that very point, it was okay.
It was all right.
Well, you know, it was funny. Stop.
It was, girl. It was.
But, you know, here's the thing. I perform all over the country, and there's always people after I perform that come up to me and say, I needed that laugh.
Mhm.
The things you said or the things that you did while you were performing really touched my heart, because you never know what someone is going through
Exactly.
mentally, physically, emotionally, physically, intellectually, occupationally, environmentally,
Mhm.
financially, socially. And but one thing we can all do is, if we're able, is to laugh and just to smile.
Mhm.
uh, sometimes life just is lifing, and
Mhm.
we have to find ways to reclaim our joy and our
Yeah.
happiness. I remember talking to this lady, and she says, Tiffany, I felt like I was going through a breakdown. And I said,
Mhm.
you know what? You have to change that perception, and look at it that, you're going through a breakthrough. And
Mhm.
so um, we're all going through this thing called life and this
Yeah. Yeah.
existence.
Yeah. Yeah. You know,
And
we're
and
at this point. I'm sorry. Go ahead, sister.
no, go ahead, Edward.
No, I mean, I'm thinking about this morning as well. We're looking at this political climate and what it's doing to everybody. Everybody's on edge. We're looking at what's going on in our education, the economic culture of this country, and everybody is on the edge. Everybody has that one variable that makes them say, well, damn. But do you realize that we escape in 30-minute and hour intervals when we watch our favorite show? When we put on Sanford and Son, I don't care how many times you've seen or heard Fred say, "You big dummy." We smile. We're like,
Dummy.
and we've seen it dozens of times, if not more.
Yeah, and
And you
that's
can
more
see,
for me.
for me too. I got the whole series exactly. But we sit there and we look at no matter what's going on, or a puppy.
Mm-hmm.
Or a dog. You can have that. And people, I'm not a dog person, but one thing I do know is I've seen the impact animals have on people's lives. And I had a guy tell me one time, he said, I thought about contemplating suicide. He said, but you have no idea what it's like walking into your house and this dog is as excited as he can, tail wagging and they spinning in circles. He said, and I looked down and I literally said, you're that happy to see me?
Mm-hmm.
And the dog ran to the other room and came back. And he was like, this joker, it's been 30 minutes. And he's still happy to see me. He said, and that stopped me from committing the ultimate. So I don't think that we can downplay. And like you said, can you imagine somebody that's had a hell of a week and they come to see you perform? And when they walk out, they smiling and they laughing. You might not have, you got letters behind your name, Laugh. That's your
Yep.
letters. You bring joy, Joy. You bring joy just as much as we as behaviorists or Sister Science as a nurse can bring and change people's lives. We cannot minimize the impact of joy and happiness in today's society. Because guess what? We can turn on the news and watch an hour long full of what? Drama,
Mm-hmm.
murder, the economy is about to bomb,
You ain't
Trump's
got to
coming
log into
back.
the TV for that. You can go on any social media platform for that.
Mm-hmm.
But I have a question for you, Miss Dickerson, Mrs. Excuse me, girl. That's a mad woman you talking to, boy. I want you to if you could have a vulnerable moment. When did you know that laughter was what you were meant to make people do?
When my mother was diagnosed with cancer and was told she only had 6 months to live.
Oh wow.
And I just, you know, she went on to live 13 more years in remission. But I remember always wanting to do whatever I could do to make whatever day she had left on the earth happy. And I think there's like two sides of me. There's there's this whole persona of the mic chick that once I step on stage, I show out and do splits and everything else you can think of while I'm wearing my Spanx.
I
But
gotta
then
go
there's
check that show out.
Okay.
Check that out. Okay. When did you? I'm going to kind of piggyback so you can finish, but add this into that, which is kind of a part two to her question. When did you know you were funny? So finish her question, and by the end of that, when did you know you were funny? When you got what? When you,
to make people laugh. But so there's really the side of me that's really uber educated and smart and understands a lot about life, and I incorporate all of that into my sets. There's really nothing that I'm not capable of talking about when I perform, but adding that element or layer of humor to make it hit is where it all comes together. And so going back to what you asked, Shauna, that's why I say, you know, I really at one point I wanted to be a preacher, but you know, back then that really wasn't the thing for women to do, or be an evangelist or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went on to college and, you know, matriculated through life, but I always had this part of me that is a creative. I love motivating people, inspiring people, coaching people, training people, and speaking and performing. And I just really intertwined comedy into it. And so my life has been just so blessed and enriched by doing that. I can't imagine now when I started doing comedy in 2013, I would just be happy to do a show just on a weekend. And now I'm doing 4 or 5 shows in one day. And I've literally traveled all over the world. And I'm just a local person here in Baton Rouge that has literally performed and traveled all over the world. And so it's a blessing.
Yeah, I mean, but when we look at and we talk about being a ambassador for comedy, or being a nurse, or being a conduit, or we look at how we impact each other's lives, you know, and how closely we are intertwined, regardless of what. Look, we have 3 different disciplines right here on this camera right now. But every one of us can utilize humor to connect with people, because even if you're blind, you can hear and still laugh.
Mm-hmm.
You know, even if you're no matter what you do for a living, you can incorporate some type of humor to connect with people. And I tell my students a lot. I said, you know, too often you get the degrees and you want to go in and you want to be therapist extraordinaire, and the client don't even know if they like you yet.
Oh.
You know, you may be a jerk. They may not even like you yet. So first thing we do is we need to show that we're human, that we're grounded, and that means showing that you're genuine. And I believe one of the things that, and again, people always say that, you know, you're funny as well, but I'm no comedian. At the end of the day, people who are the funniest are the people who are genuine, and they're up there, you literally being themselves. And we just find that to be that thing that we connect with them on. You know, Sister Size, when I met you, it was via this camera. Mm-hmm. And the first time we had our show and we hung up, and Joe and I always process after the show, he said, well, what do you think? I said, that's a genuine sister right there. There ain't no pretentiousness. There's no, I'm trying to be this. She is what she is.
No, my memory don't allow me to be
and
doing
you get
no
what you get
like that.
Yeah, you get what you get. So I'm gonna make a commitment to try to see Sister Dickerson, and her sets and make sure that what I'm feeling right now, that genuineness is real, but I'd like for us to take a little turn and talk about how we have used this thing as humor, and Sister Dickerson started talking about it by saying, I used it to help when my mother had cancer. And I remember some of my days where I struggled as a young person or even as a young adult, using humor just to get me through college, because I was like, I don't know if this college thing is for me, and then I found something that I enjoy, because I tell people I went to Southern, and my comedic story about going to Southern, I went to Southern and I was going in engineering because it was cool to walk around with the T-square, and all the girls knew that I was in engineering. Until at the end of my second year of engineering, I realized, oh, you an engineering major, right? I was spelling it wrong.
Oh,
I was engineer. I was for almost 2 years. I had went through the engineering department cheating, and I had engineer spelled all wrong. I was an engineer.
So you was gonna be out there building hearses and stuff.
Yeah, right. Billing bridges.
Duplexes and
I was bringing exactly. So I told my advisor, I said, you know what? I need to get out of this engineering thing because I don't have a clue. And she said, well, what did you like doing? I said, I like that psychology class. And as I say, after that, the rest is history. But I had to laugh at myself. I said, now, how you been in the engineering department for a year and a half, and you can't even spell engineer?
You want to sing the song? You can't even remember the words?
Hey, let alone remember the words. I didn't even know the melody. I didn't even have a good melody in my head. But it makes me laugh because I said, well, I found my thing via humor, And I remember having to call my mom. I was like, Mom, we got to start all over from, my sophomore year. I'm going into psychology. She said, what happened in engineering? I was like, let's not talk about that. We'll just move on to something else. So going into thinking about being a preacher and going into comedy, what did the people around you say? Were they supportive, or did you get pushback? How did it go?
Well, I think because there's nothing I haven't tried or done in my life. It's just no one ever really truly supports you until you succeed.
Ooh.
That's the way I see it.
Don't you start.
Okay.
Until you become what they think you're not going to do. I will say this. Sometimes if you just make eye contact with a person and smile and acknowledge them, that will bring a smile to someone's face before you tell a joke. And so I've always tried to live a life that, from the perspective, life is fleeting and life is short. And so I'm going to always do what I can to be a positive force, and hopefully the God in me shines through, even when I'm having a bad day, that somebody else is not having a day. So that has always just led me to be who I am. And I hope that shines through when I'm performing, when I'm interacting with people. People say, "Oh, you never meet a stranger." I just know that I want people to feel special when they interact with me, and to know that they're important and that I value them and that they value themselves and start to see themselves in a different way. Because mental health is real. And
tell me about
it. Mental wealth, you have to take care of your health. And
Correct.
all of those things that I talked about before, and as far as your your thoughts and your values and your beliefs and your mood and your body and your mind. And all of those things, they're interconnected. And when you feel good about you and the walk that you're taking and the strides that you're making, you treat people differently. And I think you said something, it's hard to, yell or scream at someone who's smiling.
Yeah, who's laughing and smiling with you.
Happy. And so we just have to do a better job of moving through this life and treating each other better as people, as humans.
As that human side. And I gotta go and talk about kids. And Sister Size, you can chime in on this one. I remember being a kid, and I had 7 uncles. And I was always, that rambunctious kid, and I was always a roughneck, and I was always on the thick side, for lack of a better term. And so my uncles would come in and they would just light into me, man. Hey, mama, you don't need to feed this boy, he's a fat boy. And I mean, they would be going in. But here's the thing. As much as they would talk about me, I knew they loved me because I'm their nephew. And I mean, these cats would not let up off me. So people were like, well, that sounds kind of cruel. Let me show you the thing. So now I'm inside and my uncles are just driving me. Boy, not only are you fat, you're ugly too. Ooh, oh, mama could have put a sheet on his head, So now I go outside and there's my friends. So now, you know how kids are. Yeah, hey, fat boy. And and I'm kind of looking and I'm saying to myself, is that all you got? Man, my uncle's way funnier than y'all inside. So now I'm going back and forth. So now that quick-wittedness and that self, I'm secure in myself because no matter what my uncle said, I knew at the end of the day, they were going to say, come here, let's go hang out, or let's get on the back of my motorcycle. I'm going to take you to get, whatever. So now I'm on the street of New Orleans, and baby, I could play the dozens with the best of them. We can talk trash with the best of them. And even if you did by some chance, say something that people thought, I never felt anything about it one way or the other. And I kind of like to contribute the fact that I had that groundedness at home with my uncles and my family, who no matter what they said, we knew that they loved us.
That's what I was gonna say. You have to have that familial grounding. Mm-hmm. I was not like that. When I was in school, I was teased from everything from the thick eyeglasses to not having a parent, right? Because I was adopted. Although I had parents, I didn't have my, quote, real mom, right? And although, I would go and I'd tell my mom or my dad, and they all don't worry about what them children say, that wasn't the answer for me. So I went through many years, all of high school pretty much, struggling with who I thought I was versus who others thought I was. I looked different from my family members, from my sister, from my brothers, and I had one very, very close friend, still close friends to this day, Shanitra Williams. And she always gave me the affirmation, right? Because I'm 48 now. I know my mom and dad love me now. But at the time, they did not show it to me in a fashion that I understood that was love. I thought that they were being mean. When I found out I was adopted, I kind of, looking back in retrospect, manipulated that in order to get a little guilt, but that was because I didn't feel comfortable in myself, right? And when you have esteem problems, baby, any attention is what it is.
Good attention, yeah.
Right.
Any attention, bad attention is good attention, yeah.
Correct, but it took me a while to understand that how my mother showed me love was what she knew, right? So I didn't take that and use it as an excuse on my children. I in turn did the absolute opposite, right? I showed my children, not a day go by. My son 24, my daughter 19, another daughter 17. I tell my kids I love them every day. My son says that back to me, right? My daughters are more inclined to say, okay, mom, me too,
Yeah.
But I wanted to make, I didn't take the assumption that they knew I loved them just because I do X, Y, and Z for them. Because I am supposed to do X, Y, and Z for them, but they still need to feel and hear and see that I love them.
Yeah, that kids can use, and we're talking about the positive effects of humor and the positive effects of laughter, but there's that downside for some people too, because just like I was talking about, we have kids that's out here right now, and the minute you get in a group and folks start talking about you and the other people around laugh, is where now I feel something different about laughter. Laughter is not a good thing.
Now it's mockery.
Yeah, and now it's hurtful. And we need to really pay attention to how too much of anything can be bad, but not just too much, but everything can be used as a detriment, just like it is an enhancement. So now we have these kids, because like I said, I went outside after being teased and made fun of by my uncles, so I was good. But then now we look at kids that go to school and the kids talk about them and they're the object of ridicule, and they do not deal with that object of ridicule well. And they think about, all this negative stuff now. And me as a therapist, you as with the bullying project, to say it's okay if they say things about you, and they're looking at us like, no, it's not. It's not okay if they say these things about, because it doesn't make me feel well. I don't feel good about myself when they laugh at me.
But that's when we have to teach them. And I want to make sure that I say this correctly. Usually when a child gets offended from someone clowning them and others laughing is because there might be a slight level of truth.
Oh, that's the truth to it. Yeah.
A lot of the children that I come across, they get bullied for how they look, their hair, their smell, uniforms, things like that. It's the truth, right? But it does not make them feel good because they have zero control over that.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
So I try to educate children on, number one, differentiating what you have control over and what you don't, because that right there is the definition in how you deal with anxiety. Anxiety comes when you literally trying to control and navigate something
and you can't.
That you
can't. And you
do.
can't. Correct. Yeah, and you can't. It makes you think about those kids that come, or Sister Dickerson, you have that person in the front row and you decide, I'm gonna lock in on them, and you start talking about them, or you may say some things. It's a different feel that you have as a comedian when they laugh back. But you might be picking them, because I watched some of these comedy specials, and I've seen comedians lighting the people in the front row, and they looking like this.
Right.
They don't stay there long. They move on. And I've even had kids where I tell them, I said, when they were saying things about your thick glasses, what did you do? Well, I walked away. I cried. I did. I said, okay, was what they saying, was it funny? And it was like, no. Okay. But everyone was laughing but you. Yeah. And they're talking about how they feel. So that leads us back to the original purpose of this podcast, when we talk about how comedy, laughter, and joy makes us feel. We sometimes can't comprehend as adults how laughter can make someone feel bad. I don't understand that. That's because no one likes to be laughed at. We always want to be laughed with.
Tiffany, have you ever had a situation where maybe one of your audience members didn't like your joke? And if so, what did you do?
So when I perform, I don't talk about people in the crowd in a derogative way. If I'm gonna single someone out or talk about them, it's gonna be in a positive fashion about how good their hair looks or their clothes or how good they smell or that or that they got a fine man or it's gonna be something positive, and I'll build upon that because nobody wants to be singled out in a derogative way that you got on, plaid shirt with polka dot pants. That's not how I operate, and I'm funny enough to have enough jokes to where I don't have to do that. So when I'm engaged in the crowd, I'm trying to see if I can put my leg up on their shoulder and do something crazy. That's the kind of stuff I'm doing. Not talking about people.
Have you ever been bullied, Tiff?
Engage them, like, oh, let me touch you, even after the performance, I tell them, thank you so much for playing along because I know you didn't have to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the kind of comedy that I do. I can't ever recall anything that, and I mean, I've done thousands of shows where I've offended anyone.
Wow, really?
So Tiff, I know the question was asked by Shauna. Have you ever been bullied? Have you ever been bullied in your life?
As a child, yeah. I was thin. I was very thin, and so
you still
a
thin.
lot of people would say, back then it was like, oh, you skinny, or I thought I was Vietnamese, so it was like, oh, the Vietnamese girl with the two white brothers, even though my brothers were black. But God has brought me from a mighty long way. I was the type that I would be quick to lay hands and fight.
Hallelujah, glory.
So, and I'm still probably, a whole sentence shy of being in parish prison if somebody still says something to this day. Because I'm just being honest. But people don't understand the power in their words. And for me to not to be at where I am from a growth standpoint, because I'm also a recovering cursaholic.
A cursaholic?
I'm still in therapy.
Well,
I'm recovering.
I need to join that group.
I'm in recovery with you.
Well, hold on. So let me say this. Tiffany, what I'm probably gonna need to do, I'm gonna take Tiffany off for a minute. I'm just gonna leave us three on. I'm gonna take Tiffany off for a second. Because Tiffany doesn't know this. She needs to fix her earbuds. I think it's her earbuds that's giving that distorting sound. But the great thing that I can say is that I'm glad that we have this great comedian in here, because Tiffany, when she comes back, and I'm gonna bring her back, I'm wanting her either to fix her earbuds or to fix her sound, because I want the people to know that this is an awesome comedian and she does a lot of performances. And what I also would want to have happen is, because she's stepped away for a minute, is folks to know how to get in touch with Tiffany, because laughter is good for the soul. Laughter is good for the soul. And and family, we do this thing we call Wellness Wednesday. And see, she back. I'm about to bring her back. Tiff, I'm about to see if did we get it fixed? Did we get it fixed? Did we get it fixed? Hey, Tiff. So is that your ear? It's your earbuds.
I did
now. See that?
I didn't have on earbuds before.
Oh, you didn't? So now you see there? Now you in the building. That's what it was. That's what it was. The ladies and gentlemen, once again, let's give it up for Miss Tiffany Dickerson.
Let's start all over from the beginning. That's what we'll do. Let's start all over from the beginning.
So Tiff, if people were wanting to book you or to find out about your brand or follow you on social media, how do they do that?
They just go to my website, www.tiffanydickerson.com, and that's how they can book me.
That part.
Yes.
Look, don't get sassy up in here. I get sassy back. She made that sound
I'm not
sassy.
getting
They can book me
I'm
at
not
Tiff.
getting
They can book
sassy.
me.
That's not who I
They can book
am.
me.
It's me
They
though.
can they
He
can
talking about
they can book me at TiffanyDickerson.com.
Yes, that was my very African American I need the money voice.
Oh, she said I
Oh,
need that
there's
paper.
I need the
What
money
is that?
voice. I need to get
Oh,
that
oh,
voice then. If it's
oh,
I need the money
Yeah.
voice, I need to put
Hold
that on
there
myself.
we
Hold on.
go.
Let me try this one. This one might get my money. Hold on. TiffanyDickerson.com.
Oh
Okay.
no, I can go low too.
I don't know. That's Barry Whitelow right there.
I mean, Barry White made plenty
Barry
money.
Whitelow right there.
Uh-huh.
Hold on.
No, I can. So the thing, I think people always find so amazing, I can change my voice. I can do impersonations. But I
Give
don't
me
do
one.
all of.
Yeah, come on.
Give me one. Doggone it.
Come
Give
on,
me
come on,
one.
come on. I'm about to do Shauna up in here.
Hold up. That was a little bit too good.
But the thing is, I'm generally booked 3 to 4 months in advance, sometimes 4 to 6 months, because again, I do perform. Typically, my very busiest days are Thursday through Sunday, but I truly love I love making people laugh. I love acting a fool. It really comes naturally. Um, I'm truly an entertainer, honest.
That's what I'm talking about. So Tiffany, one of our viewers, Brother Fatim, who is a part of
What's up, brother
hashtag Truth Be
Fatim?
Told, he's got a comment that he put. He said, Tiffany, since you
Hmm.
said you were once a curseaholic, was that
Yeah,
associated with anger for you? Was that the reason why you would curse because you were angry, or did you just love spitting out them words?
I liked the linguistics of it.
Mm-hmm. Baby, ain't nothing like a good F
That's a
word.
fancy way of saying I just like to curse, damn it.
Oh,
That's
Yeah,
not
right.
That's a fancy
You
way of
hold
saying
it,
I just like to curse.
and
hold it.
I back her.
Hold it. As one of my good friends would say, you's gonna get these paws. You gonna get them. You gonna get these Skippy Pats.
All
No,
right.
I think sometimes the way certain things come across is just a little bit more palatable, and people are more inclined to do what they need to do when the right words are paired together.
So did you just say that cussing is motivating? Is that
Yay!
That's what I want.
that's a fancy way of saying cussing is motivation.
Ain't gonna hurt
That is
nobody.
not what I
You got to
said.
cuss 'em. You got to cuss them to get them to do what
Ain't
you
gonna
want them to
hurt
do.
nobody.
That
Well,
is
I can be,
not what I
Oh,
said.
sorry.
That's
I can be
pretty
very.
much what you said. You say you just got to cuss a Negro out to get him to do what you want him to do. That's what you said. Okay, all right. Because
And
look,
I'm gonna add, because I have to remember that I'm representing the children tonight.
oh, here we go. Okay.
I do tell the children when they come to me in a crisis, in the middle of an emotion, right? It's okay if that's the only word you can find. It's okay.
It's okay.
You know, because depending on the tone and which word, I might be able to actually understand your emotion.
Oh, you ain't got to tell us, because look, we all have those parents where will cuss you, but when you in certain settings, you couldn't use it because so you bucked it, but I will knock the hell out of you. And I'm like, how do we understand what you're saying? And you're not even opening your mouth. It's the tone and the pitch and the look, but I will knock the hell out of you.
That's how I developed that deep voice.
Is that what it is? Okay, because I know at one, you get that cussing, but boy, look, as soon as people are around, and I don't want them to think I'm a bad parent, so now you're gonna pretend to keep on. I'm gonna make me come over there. And I'm like, Mama, I'm not gonna make you come over here. I promise I'm not gonna make you come over here to keep from cussing. So I don't know. I'm kind of with, I think that's a way to motivate folks. Throw a few little 4 letters here and there, get people get that act right in them.
Sometimes you need them 7 letters, though. Them 7 letters.
So wait a minute. Shauna and Edward. Tiffany, you threw something out there and it just kind of resonated. I let it sizzle in my spirit for a minute.
Oh, sizzle.
Yeah,
Like
I
a
let it sizzle. I
medium
let it
low
sizzle
high.
in my spirit for a minute.
You
So
sizzling.
so wait a minute. So you said that when you were younger, people used to come at you because of the races that were intertwined in your creation. So wait a minute. What did you say? Folks they used to pick at you because you were small and thin, but then they used to say that's the girl with the two white brothers, which really weren't white because they were black, and they said that why again?
Because I looked Vietnamese and my brothers looked white.
Oh, okay. Is there a reason for that look? Is there some Vietnamese in your family? I'm just asking.
No.
No, you just see that. So they tried to put a whole race on you. Hold it. We're gonna put a whole race on her. You know she looked like Jackie Chan.
Hell no.
What the
You
heck?
know, the world really cares about race. It never fails. If not every day, every other day, I'm asked what my ethnicity is, and I
What
just
you
tell
mix
people
with,
I'm from
girl? Why
Switzerland.
they hit you with
Yeah.
that? They hit you just like that. What
Mhm.
you mix with, girl? Girl,
I
what you
Yeah.
hate
mix
that.
with?
I truly dislike that word because it makes me feel like I'm some kind of breed of dog.
Right.
Yeah.
That makes no sense, Shauna. I hate when people say that. They say that to my oldest son. What you mix with?
Mhm.
What you mean? What I'm mixed with?
Yeah.
Pit
And I think it's
Rottweiler.
just yeah, it's just a lack of intelligence when people say that, when they just don't know better.
Or the what you is.
Well,
What
you know,
you is.
we are here. It is about 6 minutes to the top of the hour. We're going to go into a little overdrive because now we got the sound hitting like it needs to hit. So we're going to keep the conversation going. Now, Brother Brown,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
we do this thing called Wellness Wednesday because your mental health matters. Now, if you want to join in on the conversation, you can. The phone lines are always open, 225-250-8770. Tonight, we're talking about how laughter is good for the soul. And we have the mic chick herself. Mic check, 1, 2. The mic chick herself, Miss Tiffany Dickerson in the building. Give her a round of applause. And you know, this is the first show that we've done out of all of our Wellness Wednesdays, which started off as Mental Health Mondays,
3 years ago.
that we are
3
talking
years
about how laughter is good for the soul and it's good for your mental health. You know, some of you are walking around all day, every day with the prune face.
Mm.
All day, every day with the prune face. Ain't
Mm.
nothing funny to you. You are a professional hater. You are the hate. We're gonna give you the Hater of the Year award because
not a
you hate
hater.
on everybody and you give the prune face. Your prune face is there. Be exact. If you got $1 million, you're still mad because it should have been 1,000,001. If something good happened today, it didn't happen good enough.
It
If
should have
somebody
happened
did something
yesterday.
today, it wasn't done good enough. At the end of the day, your whole structure is not to be anything of joyous jubilation or congratulations. You are literally use a mean one. Mr. Grinch.
And it's really a sad situation if you can't laugh at yourself.
Come on.
You know, we've all been in situations where we have to literally step back and laugh at ourselves. I told you earlier in the show, one of mine was, you know, being an engineering major and realized 2 years into the program, I was still spelling engineering wrong, you know, but one of my all-time, I mean, I said I would never tell this story, but after it was so funny, I had to tell almost every time I get an opportunity. I'm at home one day, the family's gone, and I got the surround. I have the house to myself.
Oh, it's going down.
Man, it's getting ready to happen. I got my big bowl of chips and I sit in the chair and I'm getting ready to watch the movie. And so the movie's playing and I'm hyped. I'm like, ooh. And I'm like, the phone, I'm like, God dang. I pause the movie. I grab the phone, I say, hello? Hello? Shit. I put the movie in, so I'm watching the show and it's like, I'm like, oh, hell. I pause the movie again and I pick up the remote and I pick up the phone and say, hello? And then I put it down and I press play again and I realized the phone was on the damn TV and I just kept picking up my phone. And so I sat there for like 30
That's why they
seconds.
didn't leave you behind at
Wait.
home alone in the first
Wait,
place.
look. I sat there about 30 seconds by myself before I said, that's a damn shame. And I had to laugh at myself because
That's why you
I'm
weren't by
just a
yourself.
fussing because I'm like, they can't leave me alone. All I want to do is watch a movie. Can you just leave me alone? Wasn't nobody bothering me. That was the movie. And look, I lived with that story for a year before I told anybody how I was
Okay.
cussing and fussing. They just can't even let me watch a movie in peace.
Well, I don't have to reach far back to laugh at it in myself. I have a laugh at yourself every single morning.
Every morning.
When I realize I'm shaped like a box fan.
You shaped like a what?
A box
What?
fan. I looked at a picture the other day. I really have the same shape as Taylor Swift.
Wait a minute. Wait. Stop. Damn it. You said you shaped like a box fan? Like, hold it. You mean a box fan? A box fan?
Did somebody
Right.
tell you that, or you just
No.
came up with that on your own?
No.
No?
I had a dress on one day, and I've gotten small. You know, I went from a 24 to a size 14. Babe can't tell me nothing, right? So my mama said, "Ooh, Buffy, you look good, but your butt flat." So I turned to the side. So, and that was it. Now I realized I'm literally shaped like a little box fan, which is fine. Because if you take that box fan, if your air conditioner go out and put it in the window backwards, you gonna feel like an air conditioner.
Oh,
Oh, hell.
But
I don't have that problem.
I know. Make her camera break. Cut her camera
Well, hold on.
out.
Now, I don't understand.
Oh,
Brother
fine.
Fatim has literally put a whole book inside the chat room. So, Brother Fatim, let me do my Miss Cleo. You know the number. Call me now. Call me now. Don't you put no whole book inside the chat
And
room.
expect
You
us
know the number.
40-something-year-olds to read that.
Right. Call me now. Call me
over
now.
here.
I'm gonna be like Miss Cleo. I used to love Miss Cleo when she did that. Call me now. Call me now. You know the phone number. Call me now, man. Come on.
No,
If
but
you
you
want to say
have
something to
to
our
be
comedian,
able to take your insecurities
Mhm.
or what you think is not your best attribute, right?
Come on.
I'm not saying something wrong with me. I'm just saying my butt flat.
Dude.
And I know
But you said you built like a
Mm.
box fan.
because
That's
it's funny.
Yeah,
People
yeah.
laugh at it all the time.
But
Okay.
you know, you can just get those padded draws.
oh
Yeah, but what I'm afraid.
Wait a minute. That's false advertising.
What advertising for?
Yeah, that's false. Wait
You ain't gonna
1
know
minute.
it's false until you come try to take it off, and that's not happening.
They have panties now that have the butt lift, the
But
Spanx
they
built
gonna have to
in.
lift
They
my
everything
legs,
you can
sis.
think
I
of.
don't have no butt. They gonna start lifting my thigh at the bottom.
You know, I ain't gonna say a lot. I just whatever you do, just make sure it's well proportioned to your body. Because
That
I hate
was
seeing
so nice.
I just, you know, I hate seeing legs like this,
hey.
and I hate seeing legs like this.
My grandpa used to say, if you don't know what to say, just wave your hand. Look.
No, but you have to become comfortable in who you are, right?
Right.
Oh,
And once you accept all the things that you can't change, because outside of the panties and a surgery, I can't change that.
Mhm.
Right? You know, so you become comfortable in that. I learned to pick out things that accentuated my other, attributes as opposed to wearing things like other people, and that didn't fit my flat behind. Right? And that's what we try to tell children. When you address kids or you address a bullying problem, you have to look at that individual person. You have to look at that individual person. Even with telling jokes, you have to look at that person. Edward might be able to take a little shot, a little jose,
Mhm.
comedic. I'm not gonna be able to do that.
Correct.
You might be able to give that to Joe, but I'm not gonna be able to take that. So you have to start paying attention to people and getting those persons comfortable in themselves. And I think that's what I know. Tiffany is a master at that. She may not know it, but I remember the dress that she complimented me in is still in that closet. Right? I was all the way by the door. She said, and I see you in that dress. And I'm gonna find out where you got it from before the end of the night. And it was just that slick, right? And I said, oh, I must look good in this dress. But it's that good right there that
you remember how she made you feel. You remember how that she made you feel.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You remember how she made you feel. And that is the power of laughter. And Brother Fatim, all he posted in is basically saying how laughter impacts us on a spiritual, emotional, and physical level. Laughter does that. You know, it impacts us on all of those levels. And everything he said in his post is true. Emotional, spiritual, and physical is all impacted by laughter, by joy, by just the feeling of happiness. It can make you feel better. That's one of the reasons that they have service dogs going to the hospital. They send clowns into the hospital. You know, they send comedians into the hospitals because
they need to send for me then.
Okay,
no, it's free though.
Clown,
you know, it's free.
I don't want no
clown.
Look,
hold on.
It's free. They don't pay you to do it. Look, that full letter word is that full letter word.
Hold on, Edward. See, you know what, Tiff? You come. I like your Southern bellness in this thing. Okay. They need to call from me, then. You know, I can see you playing a real Southern belle. I go, hello, it's me, Tiffany. Now I love me some mint tulip.
Well, I do declare. I do declare.
I do declare.
I do.
Oh Lord.
Oh Lord. Look at it. She said, oh Lord. Family.
No, I would need one of those. I would need the sub captions at the bottom if I were to be on television.
Why? What you mean?
Because I'm sophisticated.
You sophisticated what? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Now, Tim, we go back like 4 flats on the Cadillac. I remember when I used to be in Baton Rouge working at the radio station. Child said, hold it. Child, say that again. You sophisticated what?
Sophisticated.
Oh, that part. Okay.
That part. And Joe, we go back like pimps and Cadillacs.
Okay. All right, man. All right.
Sophisticated. I love it.
I love it.
Hey, you need to put that on a t-shirt.
Somebody already has.
That's all right. You can still do it. Everybody making t-shirts.
I know.
Not if your face ain't on it.
That's a lot to explain.
Oh, that girl says she's sophisticated.
I like
that.
That is
I'm really, it's, I think, so like right now, y'all see me and I'm like the sophista, which is only 1% of the time.
Just
I'm ratchet the other 99.99% of the time.
Well, 100% of the time you are beautiful doing it. I'm just going to go ahead on and throw that out there.
Well, this is just hair and makeup. Underneath this,
you still do. I've seen it. Try again. Try again.
So, but thank you.
You're welcome.
But beauty is from within.
Absolutely.
And in my younger years, I had a very ugly spirit. And so that took away from the outer beauty. And like I said, with time and everything, you have to grow. And I guess whenever my earbuds weren't in, as Edward was saying, I talked about mentally, spiritually, emotionally, physically, intellectually, occupationally, environmentally, financially, socially, all of these things. I coach about 50 people a year in order to help them grow their either business or brand, and you can't be on a scale of 1 to 10. You can't be 1 mentally, but be a 7 emotionally or a 5 physically, because all of these things work in tandem if you want to elevate and change your life. And so, you know, if you have no money in the bank, but you know you want to be financially whole, there's certain things and certain people that sometimes elevation requires separation. And there's just things that you have to do if you want to improve your mental health and mental wealth. And so I always keep it real. And everyone doesn't like that. But if you ask me for my advice, well, don't get mad when I provide you the answer when you asked.
Mhm.
So, and a lot of times, if you think about just people in your family, you know what your mom would say, or you know what your sister would say if you ask them, or your best friend. So it's sometimes you rather ask a stranger just to
Mhm.
see what they're gonna say instead of the usual suspects when you're trying to, make decisions in life. If you're going on the right track and you just want some, advice.
Mhm.
But like I said earlier, life has a way of lifing, and we have to make sure that we surround ourselves with people who want to see us excel, and we want to see them excel. Like I said, Joe, I'm in my 50s. I'm not going to say which 50, but uh, Joe's a legend in the radio industry. Shauna, and I don't even know where to begin, because when I first met her, she had this whole light. When you have favor, let me tell you, there is something about your life, people see it. You can't hide it, you can't deny it. Now, good brother Edward, with all of the MSWL, all of these acronyms behind his name, okay?
Amen.
He is here for a reason. His intellect, his humor, the way he can connect with people. God makes no mistakes. Things, even us being together in this moment in time, is for a reason. And whether it's on the rebroadcast or someone listening live, you never know what someone is going through. And that is why, again, I believe laughter is so important. And to just have, sources or venues like this podcast, the truth be told, some people never get the truth. They go through life and they never really know what is what, when is what, and why is what. They just know they want better or want more, but may not know how to get there. And so I'm honored and grateful. I apologize that I didn't, every podcast and setup is different. So I apologize for not having my
Tiff, that was all
earbuds
on
in
me.
earlier.
That
That just
wasn't
means
you. That was all.
we gotta do it
Tiff,
again.
that was
We
all.
gotta do it
Tiff,
again.
All that means is, Tiff, I'm gonna have to bring you. I'm gonna have to bring you back. That's all. That's all that means. We're gonna have to have your lovely face back on again. And listen, I thank you. We always say this on the morning podcast about the beauty of Black women. And to have such beautiful, intelligent queens who represent for the queendom. Cause y'all representing for the kingdom and the queendom, and it's just great to have you on here, glowing, glistening, being funny, being who you are. Like I said, we go way back to my BR days and when I was at Q1065 and WXOK, and I remember those days in Baton Rouge when I was just a little bald-headed brother coming from Grambling State University.
Still a little bald-headed brother.
and the Jags
Like he goes
received me
through.
well. You know,
Mhm.
I can laugh. Me and Rusty Ponton actually switched spaces. You know, Rusty left Southern and went to Grambling, and I left Grambling and went to Southern. And to this day, people swear to God that Rusty graduated from Grambling, and they swear to God I graduated from Southern. But
That's
all
right.
we do is
That's
say
right.
it's all love, and you know,
Yeah.
and it's just great to see the evolution because
Yeah, I
what we
started in radio. I started
come
at
on, right,
106.5 with Chris Clay
right,
as an intern. And that's why
right,
I said I've
right.
been in the entertainment from from radio, television, backup dancer, everything you could possibly promote or everything you can think of in the entertainment industry. And now comedy, motivational speaking, and training. So I, I've known Joe for a long time, and just to see what he's doing, I'm so proud of you, brother.
Right.
So Tiff, I love you and I'm proud of you. Your better half, that's my dog. That's my dog. And you know, I want to say this because Fatim is chopping at the bit about put this sister on Truth Be Told.
I
So I don't
told
know
her.
if, I don't know if you get up early in the morning, but if you decide that you would like to come on one of our episodes in the morning, we are on every morning from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. You can either call in or you can come in with your lovely self on the video like you are now. We would love to have you on. It is 14 minutes past the hour. We don't went over a little overtime, but you know, that's what it is when we own the platform. And
That's
I
right.
want to encourage more people to get their mics on your platform, own how long you can stay on here, own that you can bring on who you want to bring on, and begin to have the conversations because in this Wellness Wednesday, we're about mental health and your mental health matters. A lot of folks don't know, and we give this statistic at the beginning of the show.
Mhm.
Depression and suicide is at an all-time high in communities of color.
Yes.
And family, we need to address that with brothers like Edward J. Brown, who has his own business that is a counseling business, which is licensed and is clinical, you know, Positive Choices Counseling Services. And sometimes when you're going through, you just need somebody to talk to. And sometimes the people they send you to don't look like us, don't understand where we came from, don't even understand what we're going through because they're just there to to get the billing. I just had to call it what it was.
Say it.
They really don't care if you wind up healed or whole. They just want to make
Mm,
sure that your insurance goes through and they get the billing. But I can
mm,
promise you, Positive Choices Counseling Service is my brother. I'm gonna let him talk about what he do.
Hey,
But at
listen.
the end of the day, we got people that look like us that can definitely cater to us and understand, and they want to see you healed and whole. Tiffany, you talked the whole time about the bigger picture, and it was a holistic picture. It
Yeah.
was
mm.
you need to be physically, mentally, spiritually, financially, in all dimensions. You need to be whole. And
Yeah.
and brother Edward, the floor is yours.
Well, to just talk a little bit about, we're committed to quality mental health services, and sometimes you just need that professional. Everybody that, well, people talk to me about their problems. Well, that's because you messy, but we're professionals. We're professionals, and we're trained. And one of the things that I always say, seeking help does not mean you're crazy. Needing help and not getting it means that you're crazy. If I couldn't see and didn't go to an optometrist who's a specialist, or I have a toothache and couldn't go to a dentist, then that's crazy. Seek out help. Let someone go through this life cycle with you and walk this journey that's sometimes not as smooth as we would like it to be. I just had to laugh at Brother Fatim said Tiffany can wear her bonnet on Truth Be Told. So I had to laugh.
The team must know I'm really ratchet because I really would.
Brother Fatim trying to get this sister on Truth Be Told because he just said he gave you a pass. Come on with your bonnet, and they'll take.
And I'm even cute in my bonnet too, though.
See, there you go.
See there, that part. I don't know where Sister Shauna disappeared to, and hopefully she'll come back. But and I'm going to try to hold it down until she does come back because we can stay up on here. But Tiffany, really, really, y'all just don't know how funny Tiffany is. Tiffany, do you have a show coming up anytime soon that you can tell us about that people can come and hear your comedy? Because girl, you hella funny.
So most of my events are private functions.
Okay.
Whether it's a gala or a nonprofit gala, corporate training. I have so many different event types where I perform, and they're all private. I'm trying to think what's
you got anything public coming up?
Public that I know. That's what I'm sitting here.
So hold on. Freeze. I'm gonna do this. Me and you gonna get together and we gonna do a comedy show. We're gonna do a public show. Now it might be 3, 4, 5, 6 months down the road, but we gonna get Tiffany. We're gonna do a public comedy show, and Tiffany gonna be on the ticket.
I might have an idea, brother. We might be able to put our heads together and do something together down in Lafayette.
But just keep in mind that the venue has to at least hold between 400 and 500 people, because that was my last show.
I know that. I know. Listen, Tiffany, we know.
Knowing brother Joe, he can do that. Joe can do that.
Oh, we gonna make that pop like fish grease. You can bet your bottom dollar. And Jackson's in the building. My girl Jax, she just put in. She said, "Tiffany, come on in the room and join us." Now, look, that's the 4 horsemen right there. Myself, Shauna, Jax, and Fatim. The 4 horsemen have requested your presence in whatever morning you can come on hashtag Truth Be Told. You need to come on, and I can't sing in the room. That's all I can say.
That's Shauna's job. The science does that.
Yeah.
The young lady, my booking manager, they will tell me. I get my itinerary on Wednesday, so it should already be in my inbox, and that gives me everything I have to perform and do from this Wednesday to next Wednesday. But like I said, I'm booked through, I think, June 17th.
Girl, you busy. That's what I'm talking about. I applaud that.
Because I'm trying to get my vacation.
Girl, you trying to get the Mario coins. That's what you try to get that do.
No. So let me say this. Let me say this, Joe. When COVID happened, we were in the process of filming a reality television show. The pilot. And so my goal was to move away from comedy altogether. I was slowly moving into the brand ambassador space, which brings in a lot more revenue than comedy, believe it or not.
It does.
So when COVID happened, that was still a big reality check. I went through a depression because when your life is structured around being on the road and catching flights and catching, planes, trains, and everything else you can think of to be somewhere, I can still remember an email that I got from the Eventbrite CEO for events through organizations or companies about refunding tickets and insurance and all the logistical stuff that, why am I getting this? This needs to go to my people. And then, I went from having a staff of 10 to it was just my husband and I and one other person. And so, that whole book of business and pivoting, it was
challenging.
It was very challenging, but I also now I don't say yes to everything. While I still have a lot of events, I don't. There was 5 years where I just really didn't even see my kids grow up. I had nannies. I had probably 3 or 4 assistants helping me, whether it was me when I was reigning as Mrs. Baton Rouge, my mic chick, my jewelry business, my coaching business. So I had someone for everything. Um, and so that's why it's like really hard for me. I'm trying to think, gosh, when is my next public show?
We're gonna hold it. Tiff, we're gonna figure that out. But
Yeah,
what
we
I
gonna
want to
figure it.
emphasize on before we get up out of here is you gave a plethora of entrepreneurial stuff that you do. And I want you to encourage other sisters, other brothers who are tuned in or who may look at the replay. That what
Okay.
I love about it is you didn't say that I just do one thing. You were multifaceted, and I want you to encourage other folks that if they got a dream, guess what? They may have to go and do 2 or 3 things, but if that's your dream, go get it. Go get it.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't just wake up and say I wanted to be a comedian. I think what led me to it was trying to motivate and inspire my mom to live. And I knew she wanted to live because she had 4 young kids, but just always wanting to put a smile on her face. Anyone out there who has a dream or a goal, when I said, okay, I'm gonna transition from doing motivational speaking to being more in the comedy space, people were like, okay, whatever. And then I had a show, and then I had another show, and then I went on tour, and then I had representatives from R&B artists wanting to know if I wanted to open up in arena spaces. So anything is possible. You have
Come
to
on
just
now.
want it and believe and speak it into existence.
Come on.
And it's really, I guess now for me, it's not even, I love making money, but making people smile. I'm gonna always, I don't wake up or live my life trying to figure out how I'm gonna be rich. I live my life in the space of how am I gonna touch others and
Woo.
pull others up along the way, because I'm better than blessed right now, and I know that is favor. And that's why I say I have a whole business where I just coach people. I provide seed money and invest in other people to make sure that their dreams are realized, because they don't have anyone in their corner fighting for them. And I know what that feels like. And I
Come on
tell
now.
people, I
Speak on
went
that.
from being overlooked to now I'm overbooked. And
Mm.
that's
Ooh.
nobody but God.
All right now.
And
All right, family. Woo. Hey, I don't need you to say another word, Tiffany.
That's what I'm
That
talking
right
about.
there was the explanation point to this podcast right there. You can go. Oh, wait a minute. Let me see. Is Shauna here? Shauna, I hope we can hear you. Can we hear you? No, we can't. See, that's how my phone line. Hold on. I'm going to call Shauna back. Shauna, I'm going to call you back, dear. I'm going to call you back. That was how you end
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
an explanation point. Because you go from overlooked to overbooked. And that ain't nothing but God. That ain't nothing but God. That is literally
Absolutely.
nothing but God. So with that being said, we applaud you for coming on. Once again,
Thank you.
share with everybody. If they need to know about any of the products and the services that you offer, they can go to where? TiffanyDickerson.com. Is that correct?
That's correct. And they'll see the 4 different businesses listed there. And they can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, whatever that new thing is, Threads.
All that. Why you say there's a bunch of
Be
stuff.
Twitter,
They
yeah.
can follow you on all social media platforms. Just look for the Mic Chick, Tiffany
Yeah.
Dickerson. Tiffany, we
Yeah.
really appreciate you coming on.
Yes, sister.
I don't
Thank you
want to
for
hold
coming
you
on.
too much longer.
Thank
It's
you.
almost 9:30. So
We enjoyed
with
it.
that being said, I'm gonna flip it over to my brother Edward Brown. Brother Brown.
You know how we do, man. I want to say in like 10 seconds, allow laughter on tomorrow, on any given day, to impact you positively, spiritually, emotionally, and psychologically. Allow it to impact you. So as we always say, as you see these three faces on, if nobody else told you today, we love you. We'll see y'all next week. Peace.
So I'm not going to end it like that. Since she's
Okay, well, look,
Ratchet,
all right.
since
Oh,
she's
you in the
Sophisticated
music. All right, bring some music
yeah,
in.
I got some bad nerve. I got a bad temper.
That's wait. Is that Boozy
I
Ratchet?
talk a lot of shit, but I don't take none. I put it on. This ain't a fake gun. My pockets on swole. My bank roll.
We on that Jigga train. That's how we ended it. We on the train. We on. Wait a minute. Oh, now we gotta get up.
That's Sophisticated Ratchet.
That part. Hey, that part.
That's
Oh, that's it,
Ratchet.
y'all. We out of here. Y'all be good. Peace. The Jigga train coming through. We out.
Y'all better train coming. Can I get a train coming? Y'all better train coming. I'm on them hoes like, where your man at? You sure you 21?